Hey folks, welcome to another market update from Charting Star. I'm Joe. It's Sunday the 29th of January and we're going to have a look at the DAX and the US markets. At DAX, nothing really changed on the bigger picture, so we just have a look at the smaller time frames. This one here is a 50-minute time frame based on the cash market, and you see in blue this very smooth running descending broadening wedge pattern which broke out here on last Wednesday. It gapped up, it retested and reconfirmed that upper trend line, and now we have to wait for Monday or Tuesday if DAX is able to hit these targets. The minimum is at 15,231 and the 100% move is at 15,262. And if he does so, he would trigger here in red. You see this dotted red line, it's a bearish Wilbur wave wedge, which would be the result out of it. And that could be a nice move first to the upside before it fires to the downside. And I was posting this chart here also at the beginning of last week. You see that symmetrical triangle, which got triggered over here, and it keeps retesting that upper trend line. And I also mentioned this ABC move we were looking for as wave 4 is not going to happen. DAX might consolidate in that triangle as wave 4, and he probably runs up here straight away. That is an option. I consider it back as a 50-50 chance, so I rather keep my hands off it right now and wait what's going to happen at the beginning of next week. And one more look at the VDAX, the volatility, and as you can see, we made a new low on Friday evening, or was it in the afternoon? Yeah, it was just after 5 p.m. And as you can see, yeah, Friday likes to crush volatility, and we need to have an eye on that. If it keeps crushing to hit that red trend line, which would be another bullish wedge, which could fire to the upside. Yeah, on the daily time frames, nothing really changed. I was showing this inside candle here, but as you can see, DAX is just moving sideways and nothing really is going to happen. So that's about DAX. And we're going to continue with the US markets. So let's continue with the SP 500, and I was showing last weekend already that symmetrical triangle. It got triggered, it followed my projected path so far quite well. We made on the cash market a double top now, or actually it's a triple top. And now we need to wait if that cycle here is coming to an end at the beginning of Feb. That would mean we are turning around at the beginning of the week. Since these triangles like to do fake outs to either side as well. And also considering the weekly, here's the all-time high, by the way, and we have that falling trend line everyone is talking about. Don't pay too much attention on that trend line. And yes, it broke, and yes, it broke on a weekly basis, and we are well above it. But having a look at previous crashes or like previous bear markets, you see these trend lines to be broken all the time. And usually what happens, there's another trend line after another trend line coming up, and they keep breaking. And before the market actually setting up just a bear market rally before it turns around and to set up new lows, to just keep that in mind. And what you see here is a 2-hour time frame, also based on the cash market, and I was triggering also this rising bearish Wilbur wave wedge, which got triggered with that third high, or that third touch on that upper trend line. And as you can see, these cycles here, they match up the one I just showed you in the daily as well. By the way, that doesn't mean we are running a little bit higher on Monday or into Tuesday. And also keep in mind that we have FOMC. I think it's on Wednesday. And I would like to show the Nasdaq idea became invalidated. I was going for this potential shoulder pattern, but as you can see, it didn't work out. We hit that 12,204, which is above that slight rising trend line here. So that pattern became invalidated. Keep an eye on that cycle. This one here suggests a low at the 9th of February. And that might be even a pullback out of this rally here, and before setting up higher highs, because Nasdaq, to be honest, looks very bullish since the beginning of the year, and it seems like growth is flipping, or value flipped into growth again. So the Nasdaq could become the next leader. And last but not least, the Dow Jones, and this is a daily chart, by the way, and there's also a symmetrical triangle. This one is a bit different because the starting point is at mid-December, whereas the S&P had its starting point at that high we made in mid-August. And the one thing you should know, first of all, that thing got triggered on Friday evening, and now there are targets to the upside at 35,418 and 36,338. That is a possibility that we run all the way up here, but I also would like to show you that rally we had in May, and it also ended up with a symmetrical triangle, which was the top of that rally, and before we had that very, very sharp decline, that gap decline into June. So this doesn't mean that we are running straight up. These things also could be a topping formation, and it could be also a setup to run much, much lower. Also keep in mind that we are quite late at all these primary cycles. This week starts week 16, and in all different indexes, and also at DAX. So keep that in mind, that this rally might come to an end. And another interesting thing to look for is that divergence between the Dow Jones Industrials and the transportations. There is still that divergence present from the 18th of January, and there might be another divergence coming up at the beginning of this week. The transportations probably will make a higher high and the industrials won't. And have also a look at the divergence at the top between the Nasdaq and the S&P and the industrials. The Nasdaq took already out the highs from mid-December, and the Dow Jones is pretty far away from that, and the S&P is like right in between. And that is also another sign that these cycles are coming to an end. And also have a look at the VIX. The VIX usually likes to start rising into that last phase of that rally, and that would be the final warning sign to have an eye on. So yeah, that's about it. Pretty short one, but there's nothing really more to say. I wish you a great weekend, and I see you on Monday. Thanks.